Hi, this is Colin Triplett with Mint Condition Fitness in Los Gatos, specializing in fitness over 48, and today we're talking about posture. And so we're going to break it down into three different areas that we really want to focus on when it comes to posture. The first is the hips. So if you have a posture where your hips are tucked like that, or tucked the other way, that can create imbalance above, and then it affects how the rest of you stand. So hips are important, then upper back or mid back, what we would call the T-spine right here. That also, if you're overly hunched, it can cause problems with your posture. And then with the head, if you're, and usually these are all tied together, right? There's a hip, there's an upper back, and there's a head position. But if you just fix one of them, the other two may not naturally evolve as well. So we want to focus on all three areas. And so for each one, what I've put together is a little bit of what we would call a superset, or just two exercises back to back that will help to improve that area. And if you do all three in a row, you'll realign the spine. So first we're going to start with the hips. And usually poor posture comes from years and years of just having poor posture, which a lot of times has to do with sitting. So we have to do things to undo the sitting. So one of the areas that gets tight because of sitting are the hip flexors. So we're just going to do a simple hip flexor stretch. The key here is to tuck the pelvis, keep tight, and then push forward. So that's going to stretch through here. So you can do maybe 5. Nice deep breaths in, nice deep breath out. As you breathe out, you're pressing forward. So we do that on each side. But then, to help support that, it's not just about loosening one side, it's about strengthening the other side. So I then come down, lay on my back. I like having one knee up for these. These are single leg bridges. I would not have my head up like this. I'd want it down, but just so I can talk to you guys. I'm going to push through my heel, keep my palms up, and press up as high as I can, trying to create a straight line between my knee, hip, and shoulder. So we could do maybe 10 of those on each side. So we'll do the stretch first, then the strengthening move, and that's a good pair. 2 to 3 sets, and now you've done a good job of resetting your pelvis and resetting kind of the lower body. Now we're going to move up to the T-spine, and the two exercises here. First one, we're just going to round. I'm going to hold on to my leg, get up nice and tall, and I'm actually going to come down and I'm going to try to round my back as much as I can and then pull back up. Because even if you do have a slouched position, there may be vertebrae in your back that don't move very well. And so we're going to come down, push the chest out, get into a really nice tall posture there, and then round back down. Ideally, try not to get too much motion in the low back, so I'm not going to come way back here and then way out here. I'm going to try to keep all of the motion, or as much as I can, in the upper back. So back and forth, back and forth. From there, we're going to go into a rotational move. So, I'm going to lay on my back. Over to you guys. And I'm going to hold here, and I'm going to work into a rotation. So I'm going to actively try to brace and rotate around. So I'm using my breath, and I'm actually pulling myself around. This way I'm trying to get my those back muscles to engage. If you're pretty good there and you have good mobility already, because that was adding a little bit more mobility, but from a strength perspective, you can then actually go into what I would call a rocking horse, in which now we're actually trying to brace in a long spine position, so we're reinforcing that long spine position. So for this one, you can have feet off the ground, long spine. Sometimes we'll have people hold their arms over their head or hold a bar, but I'm trying to brace and extend open. So first, get the spine to move, then make sure it can rotate, and if it can, now practice your bracing. So that's phase 2. Now we're getting the upper back to work. Phase 3 is the neck. So the first move, again, we're going to do somewhat of a stretch for it. All fours here. I'm going to let my head sink down. I'm going to tuck my chin under, and then I'm going to pull it up. And my goal is to try to flatten out my cervical curve and get a stretch through my neck. And you'll be able to feel it pretty well. If you go here, here, pull up, and we're resetting the alignment of the neck. From there, what I would have you do is some simple crawling. So, keeping similar position, but this time head up, eyes out on the horizon. You're going to be here, crawl up, crawl back, head always stays up. If you do those paired together, now we're working the head in the opposite direction that it's used to be, which is usually down like this, right? We're on our phones all day, on the computer all day. So we're working up, but we're also engaging the hips, we're engaging the spine, and all of that plays in. So those are kind of the three main ones. Now, as I said, two little bonus things you can also do. These just help with overall posture and maintaining posture. The first one is rolling. Rolling is kind of fun, and it may seem very simple, but it does a lot for your posture because it's engaging all of your postural muscles. So, for rolling, just lay on your back, arms overhead, and without using your limbs, you're going to try to roll, and then roll back. So again, not pushing off my hand, not pushing off my leg, but because of that, especially when you come around, you're having to open up, it's engaging all your postural muscles. The last bonus thing is not an exercise, but it's something that everyone should be doing, which is getting a standing desk. If you want to improve your posture, you can't sit 8 hours a day. It's going to undo a lot of what we're trying to do in here. This all helps, this can get you there, but in the end, if you're constantly sitting, then you're constantly putting yourself into poor posture. And your body will adapt to whatever position you put it in. So get a standing desk, it'll help out. Treadmill desk, whatever's going to suit you. But as long as you're up, moving around, standing, and trying to stay tall most of the day, it's going to help you in the end. So those are our steps to better posture. I hope that helps. Let us know if you have any questions.